welcome back to Wrestling Flash. In this WWE and all things wrestling video, we are going to look at 10 top WWE news stories you missed this week. Welcome to the edition of our weekly feature, where we look at some interesting WWE news stories over the week that you might have missed. Cody Rhodes to win 2023 Royal Rumble and dethrone Roman Reigns. Randy Orton's career is over. Plans for John Cena at Summerslam. Seth Rollins' character changed due to being destroyed by The Fiend. WWE burying Stephanie McMahon and more. Let's start with Number 10. Naomi's first social media post since her Raw walkout. Former WWE Women's Tag Team Champions Sasha Banks and Naomi walked out of an episode of Monday Night Raw last month and have since been suspended by the company. Naomi has now finally shared her first social media post since the incident. The post features her husband and one half of the current Raw and SmackDown Tag Team Champions, Jimmy Uso. The two can be seen spending time at a beach and seem to be very happy. Neither Sasha Banks nor Naomi officially released any statement on their walkout from Raw last month. Number 9. Cody Rhodes to win 2023 Royal Rumble and dethrone Roman Reigns. WWE Hall of Famer and 16-time World Champion Ric Flair thinks that Cody Rhodes could be the one to finally dethrone the Tribal Chief. Speaking on the To Be the Man podcast, Flair predicted that Cody will take away one of the two world titles from Reigns in the future. Cody's gonna be the champion sooner or later, Flair said. I'm sure they'll figure out a way to get that championship off where Roman has both of them, get one of them off him. I think the company functions better with two champions anyway. Flair further added that he thinks Rhodes could return at next year's Royal Rumble and win it. Absolutely, if that's the time frame, Flair added. Those things are very delicate. That tissue in there takes a long time to heal, and you can't rush it. You've got to actually follow the doctor's orders. Cody Rhodes is currently out of action with his injury. Roman Reigns is set to defend his undisputed Universal Championship against Riddle on next week's episode of Friday Night SmackDown. Number 8. Randy Orton's career is over. Former WWE Champion The Miz made a major statement on this past week's episode of Monday Night Raw, claiming that Randy Orton's career was over. Riddle appeared as a special guest on this week's episode of Miz TV. Riddle gave a shout-out to his RK Bro tag team partner Randy Orton before The Miz interrupted and claimed that Orton's career was over. RK Bro lost their Raw Tag Team Championships to the Usos a few weeks ago. While Orton has been away from television recently, Riddle has started a massive feud against the Bloodline. Number 7. Cody Rhodes to be out of action for 9 months. Cody Rhodes won the hearts of the WWE Universe at Hell in a Cell by competing with a torn pectoral tendon. He managed to defeat Seth Rollins inside Hell in a Cell, but looked to be in a lot of pain due to his injury. On Raw after Hell in a Cell, Rollins came out to congratulate Rhodes for his victory, but ended up attacking him on the ramp. Cody Rhodes underwent successful surgery on Thursday, and WWE has now announced that he will be out of action for 9 months. Fans have started speculation of Rhodes possibly returning at next year's Royal Rumble and winning it all. Number 6. Megastar announces that she's leaving WWE next month. Former two-time Divas champion Paige has revealed that she'll be leaving WWE next month on July 7th. The anti-diva shared a statement on her social media page making the official announcement. She thanked the company and the fans for their support and opportunities. Here's an excerpt from her statement. July 7th will be my last day with WWE. I'm so thankful and I appreciate the opportunities that the company has given me, wrote Paige in her statement. Paige, however, made it clear that she'll be returning to the ring but didn't specify any timeline. Following the announcement, she even took to her Instagram to make it clear that she's leaving WWE for now, thus leaving the door open for a future return. Number 5. Plans for John Cena at Summerslam. It has been announced that 16-time World Champion John Cena will return on the 627th episode of Monday Night Raw later this month. Dave Meltzer of the Wrestling Observer newsletter has reported that there is talk of Cena potentially facing the current United States champion Theory at SummerSlam this year. Cena returns on the 627th Raw show in Laredo, TX. While this has not been confirmed to us by the company, the talk in wrestling is that it will be Cena versus Theory at SummerSlam, with the idea that working with Cena will bring Theory up to a higher level, said Dave Meltzer. John Cena and Theory have been teasing a feud against each other for quite some time now. The young star even revealed that he has made pitches for a SummerSlam match against Cena. Number 4. WWE's reported plans for Becky Lynch at SummerSlam. WWE reportedly has major SummerSlam plans for former Raw Women's Champion Becky Lynch. Dave Meltzer reported on Wrestling Observer Radio that the company is holding off on a major singles rematch between Lynch and Bianca Belair, but it might happen at this year's SummerSlam. I would figure that SummerSlam. It was very clear that they were holding that match off for a while. I don't think they're going to wait for Mania because they don't have the depth, probably to wait till Mania. But I figure they'll wait to SummerSlam for that, and that's why they didn't do it here. Becky Lynch lost the triple threat match against Asuka and Bianca Belair this past weekend at Hell in a Cell. The following night on Raw, she was so desperate for a title that she challenged Dana Brooke for the 24/7 championship but couldn't manage to win that either. Number 3, Seth Rollins had to change character due to being destroyed after a feud with released star. The entire WWE universe was shocked when Bray Wyatt was released by the company last year. Wyatt was one of the major stars and a top merchandise seller, and his release left many baffled. Dave Meltzer recently reported that the backstage feeling about the Fiend character was that it did more harm than good. Bray Wyatt's booking was also blamed for Seth Rollins turning heel, as he absolutely destroyed him as a babyface. Pretty much everybody he worked with got destroyed by him and was left for SHT and had to rebuild and had to turn heel. I mean, granted, Miz turning heel was probably going to happen anyway because he wasn't that great of a babyface, and Seth turning heel because they absolutely destroyed him as a babyface. That's absolutely due to the Bray Wyatt thing and the booking of the Bray Wyatt thing, said Dave Meltzer. Seth Rollins continues to be a heel in WWE and has done a great job. As for Bray Wyatt, he recently teased returning to pro wrestling soon, but no confirmed date or promotion has been revealed yet. Number 2, legendary 20-time champion to return and face Roman Reigns. Undisputed WWE Universal Champion Roman Reigns has defeated and destroyed several top stars over the last couple of years. As part of his new deal, he will be making fewer appearances going forward and will reportedly not even compete at the upcoming Money in the Bank show. Dave Meltzer has now reported on Wrestling Observer Radio that the current plan is for Randy Orton to return and face Roman Reigns at this year's SummerSlam, July 30th. He may actually wrestle on TV before that, but July 30th is his first pay-per-view championship match. He may do a television match before then. If he wrestles Riddle, it'll be on TV. It won't be on pay-per-view. At least that's the plan right now. The plan is still Orton for July 30th, said Meltzer. Randy Orton has been away from WWE television ever since he and Riddle lost their Raw Tag Team Championships to the Usos. Meanwhile, Riddle has continued his feud with the Bloodline and will be challenging Roman Reigns for his titles on next week's episode of Friday Night SmackDown. Number 1, WWE is reportedly trying to bury Stephanie McMahon. Former Chief Brand Officer Stephanie McMahon announced a leave of absence from WWE last month to focus on her family. However, there have been a lot of twists and backstage politics involved in the story since. Reports have suggested that there were doubts over her performance as an executive and key backstage people wanted to bury her. According to the latest report by Dave Meltzer, the chances of Stephanie McMahon returning to WWE look pretty low after the company publicly buried her with a planted story. F4W Online's Dave Meltzer believes the chances of Stephanie McMahon returning to WWE have greatly diminished after WWE publicly buried her with a planted story about her poor job performance following her leave of absence. Stephanie McMahon has been an integral off-screen as well as on-screen figure in the company. However, she has rarely appeared on television over the last couple of years.